You're listening to the Paul Higgins podcast, where SaaS consulting partners scale beyond six figures. No inconsistent referrals, no small deals, no getting stuck in delivery, just proven strategies and real experiences to help you build a seven-figure business that runs without you. Ready to break the ceiling? Let's dive in. Your clients aren't getting the replies to their cold email. It's time to plug in an effective SMS and MMS strategy to get more revenue. Hello, I'm Paul and welcome to the Paul Higgins podcast, episode 603. And today we talk to Lee Weinberger from cinchengage.com. And what you're going to learn from Lee is lots of things, but in particular, why SMS crushes email open rates. The percentages are incredibly high. Second is simple ways to integrate your SMS or MMS. I'll just use SMS for simplicity from now on into your CRM. Real examples of businesses who use SMS to boost effective attendance and customer interaction. He gives a great case study. And the future messaging, which is Rich Communication Services, RCS. And it's going to be brilliant once this hits now, but mainly towards the end of 2025 in North America. So Lee leads the sales team at Cinch Engage. And it's a solutions communication tool for businesses. They specialize in conversational and automated messages, as I said, SMS, MMS, and soon to be CS. It's a standalone product and it integrates into the leading CRM systems like HubSpot, Salesforce, Zoho, NetSuite, ActiveCampaign, and Shopify. Cinch also provides email and voice functions to round out the suite of communication functions. And Lee resides in Denver. He sells mainly in North America, but Cinch Engage and Cinch is a global company with offices all around the world. And if you want to see Lee in person, don't forget to visit our YouTube channel, Paul Higgins Mentoring. And what I'll do now is hand you over to Lee Weinberger from cinchengage.com. Great to have you here, Lee.
Great to be with you, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, it's a subject that, must admit, I hear a lot about, but I don't know enough about. And that's why we brought you on as the expert today. Right. But why don't we help you listening understand more about Lee's audience by saying, who are your ideal clients and what problems you love to solve for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be with you, Paul. Lee Weinberger out of Denver, Colorado. I work for Cinch. We are a business operational and marketing communications tool. We offer customers a suite of products around messaging, email, and voice functions. Our customers are across the board, B2C, some B2B clients as well, that are looking for a better way to engage their customers. And we found that SMS and MMS are replacing really the success of emails in terms of open rates and engagement, in terms of automations and connections into CRM tools. All of the leading CRMs gives our customers the power to incorporate texting via SMS and MMS into their automations and their workflows. And we back that up with email and voice functionalities as well. There are pre-built applications that we provide through the app exchange of those leading CRMs. And we've also built our own APIs, conversational tools, and AI platforms as well. So there's a lot that goes into the platform. I represented a brand that focused mostly specifically on the SMS functions, but now we are part of a larger organization and a global network of communications tools. Something for everyone. We sell directly, and we also partner with a variety of systems integrators and CRM consultants, which help to open up new channels and open up new conversations for what might be successful for one client and what can be repeated across other customers in their industry or especially users in the similar CRMs that they consult for.
Great. And that's where you come in, listening or watching, where you're, often being that intermediary between third-party software like Cinch Engage and the end client themselves. So whether you're a Salesforce partner, HubSpot partner, etc., you're in the right place to learn about this. And you talked about the shift between email and messages. Just take us through a little bit more about why are messages becoming more important and maybe email is becoming less so?
Sure. I mean, it's a big part of my sales process and qualifying questions is there's typically reporting that happens on an email campaign, what kind of open rates are you seeing? I usually hear 15, 20, 25% maybe. What if you increase that same message to someone's phone? We are a mobile centric society now where the mobile follows us wherever we go. And that increases that engagement and that open rate, especially to 90, 95% within 90 seconds. Being able to know that your clients opened up a message and opened up a promotional announcement or an appointment reminder helps to really engage those appointments to make sure they show up and helps to really get that message across to the eyeballs of your customers. Now that we have email as part of our suite, it's nice to sell both, but that's definitely been successful in getting SMS as a forward-looking and more higher engaging tool.
Yeah, and what's the difference in the unsubscribe rates from what the industry is seeing of someone on email versus SMS?
It's definitely an important topic. You obviously want to make sure that you are sending messages to personal cell phone numbers that have opted in and are expecting to hear from you. If there are people that opt out, unsubscribe automations will prevent that number from being texted in the future. We have a really close relationship with our telephony carriers, which allows us to enable business phone lines as the SMS sender ID. And as we set up those numbers to be verified, the traffic is kind of blessed before our customers are up and sending. And if they do unsubscribe, that is something that is highly regulated and must be followed. Not sure if there's like a across the board or across the industry number on what is unsubscribed more, but making sure that our customers are successful with opt-outs and terms and conditions that allow them to be opted in, something that we take really seriously.
Yeah, and look, I know all of the CRM work we've done in the past, whether it's through my clients or when we ran our own business, is that most people keep their mobiles or cell numbers for a long, long time, right? You don't often change it, whereas emails are constantly changing, and people even set up emails that tracked all the junk and what have you, right? So that's my anecdotal evidence. What do you see from an industry perspective on people keeping their mobile or their cell numbers?
That's a really good question. I guess, I've had the same cell phone number personally since I was in high school. So it does check out. The rule really is, if there is an unsubscribe, you really can't text that number again unless there may be an automation to get re-opted in. A question I get a lot is, you have some campaigns that are marketing focused and some others that are transactional focused. One opt out the same across the board? And it really is. From a send from number, can't send an appointment reminder if someone is opted out from something like a marketing announcement, unfortunately.
And any data around business versus personal, like obviously, most of my clients are working with business owners versus enterprise. But, is there any difference in the way that you send SMS to whether it's a business number or a personal number that is owned by the business owner?
Sure. And that's a question I get a lot, right? Are we a valuable fit because we sell to businesses versus more of the volume coming from a B2C customer? Everyone has a cell phone. So it's the same kind of rules across the board. If you've gotten an opt out from a cell phone number, maybe it's a customer that signed up for treatments from a spa, or maybe it's a business that has a franchise that they're going through, franchise onboarding for. Cell phone rules and regulations are the same across those examples. So the same rules apply. But yeah, probably more focused on the mass texting, the bulk announcements for things like promotional sales, marketing reminders, etc. And that would probably come from the B2C customers, but not to say there's not a use for, some of that franchise B2B play.
Yeah, and I've been working lately with some people that are doing LinkedIn messages, and then we're using AI to effectively come up with the responses, etc. Where does AI play in the message sequence? I.e., are they just standard scripted messages regardless of the reply, or is there adaptive, interactive messaging based on the replies from the SMS?
Yeah, the status quo, I think, across some of the automations that you can set up, great use cases to be able to put in a templated SMS into something like a Salesforce flow or a HubSpot workflow. Being able to see those conversational replies is really nice. We can recognize things like survey response number 1 or yes, I will be there. Those kinds of keywords and phrases can be recognized for automation rules. We're definitely going to be moving into more of our chatbot functionalities, which will use more kind of conversational AI responses. We have that across the Cinch platform today, and it does plug in nicely to API functionalities, but for the knowledge and the knowledge base, perhaps might not be available for everyone. So the rules and kind of if-then statements can be charted out really nicely in both our internal products automation rules, as well as within our CRM partners that we can kind of talk about how we integrate into.
Great. And, you're listening to Lee and I. Remember, it's Lee Weinberger, and this is episode 603, and he's from cinchengage.com. But you might be listening to us thinking, well, should I, or I'm currently using Salesforce or HubSpot internal tools. Why would I use a product like cinchengage.com? When you get that question, I'm sure you get it all the time. Let's go platform by platform. And they're probably the two key ones. It may apply to others, but to Salesforce, why would someone use Cinch versus the native within Salesforce?
Yeah, the integrations are really nice. Our customers love that our platform is pre-built. It's a plug and play plugin from the Marketplace Exchange. Yep. Zoho, HubSpot, Salesforce, NetSuite, ActiveCampaign are the leading CRMs, and we have products for all of them. Ours is a plugin that connects from our backend, and it's backed up by our own tier 1 aggregated carrier relationships. That allows the phone numbers to get up and running really quickly. That allows our employees to do the onboarding and the ongoing support that we provide, soup to nuts. We typically compete with a variety of vendors out in the space that are backed up on Twilio. We are not a Twilio shop, which actually works to our favor. They have been more of an enterprise and kind of puzzle piece API play, and have recently gone back to all of their customers and had to validate all of their phone numbers. So the queue of waiting and the queue of getting up and running quickly is something that we take a lot of pride in. We are not just an off-the-wall vendor where you have to onboard yourself and maybe use some video references. We have real software people, dedicated technical account managers that do all of our trainings and onboardings, and a full team of support people as well.
Right. The analogy I was using when I was preparing for this is sort of like the general doctor, physician, depends where you're listening in the world, how you call them, versus the surgeon or the specialist, right? I think that's sort of the relationship you get versus going with what's in product. I don't know, that's my analogy. You can run with that one, or have you got a better one that you use to sort of the differences between using a specialist like you versus a generalist in platform?
Our end user clients, we were built in our previous product for the SMB and mid-market players because the products are pre-built and they're plug and play. Enterprise and beyond customers might have their own developers to build out a Twilio connection. But for all the topics that we kind of previously talked about, expertise around opt-in language, opt-out rules, best practices for the templates and integrations, training for the sales team or marketing team that might be using it. Those are scenarios that real people are better attuned to help and onboard and train, rather than something that is just on a video or a best practice guide that you might have to read into.
And just a question that sort of popped in my mind is around agents. Do you know how we've got agentic behavior in agents is sort of the next big thing? Will agents also have mobile numbers? Like how do you see that sort of playing out?
Any business number, right? So any voice over IP phone number can be enabled on the sales team side, maybe the users in Salesforce. We can't enable mobile phone numbers that we can send from. That's kind of like a business versus mobile rule in the space. But any phone number can be enabled on the platform to send from, which is really nice to provide some synergy between a number people might recognize. Hey, feel free to call or text me back at this number, and it gets me some way. Being able to insert that into the CRM notifications is really powerful. So we know, hey, I got a message from one of my prospects in pipe, and I want to be able to see that and respond quickly. Being able to see a shared inbox view of all the conversations at once, it really just becomes like a separate inbox, but for something that is more conversational and definitely, stated earlier, much more engaging, right? 90% open rate is just a really powerful number. It typically happens quickly. It's within 90 seconds, usually you see a response.
Yeah. And some case studies, like give us an example to bring this to life. Yeah, take us through an example.
Yeah, one of my favorite customers I sold to last year was a big marketing organization called Open World Events. They are a community and event marketing platform around Brickfest Live, which is a Lego experience, and Jurassic World, which is like an interactive dinosaur experience. They use HubSpot for their marketing automation, and we plug in SMS communications for, tickets are on sale at an event in your area, or your event is coming up this week. Make sure you arrive at these certain times. So these people get thousands and thousands of customers at their events across the country. They provide some really nice volume into the system and are really seeing texting as a better way to make sure that tickets get sold and their families and parents know that tickets are going on sale. HubSpot can host thousands of contact records. So being able to control those lists in the CRM and then use the SMS plugin that we provide to blast out a message or an announcement, something that's very easy to do and very effective.
So were they doing any SMS before you guys got involved?
Yeah, they were using Twilio in the past, and then they kind of migrated over to HubSpot. We kind of sold the deal in tandem with a HubSpot rep, as well as with one of their systems integrators, and had a nice kind of partnership built out of that. We find that a lot of our direct sales end up in a communication conversation around, hey, are you using anyone to onboard? Are you using anyone to help you train into a CRM that you're growing into? And then that opens up a nice conversation with people that you might have in your audience that specify in some kind of industry or perhaps expertise in a CRM relationship. And that opens up the door to other clients that could benefit in the same way.
Yeah, great. We've talked a bit about Twilio and the advantages you've got around speed and ease of go-to-market. Who are some other key competitors that you often come up against in this space?
Yeah, it's a crowded space. I would say our biggest integrated SMS tool that integrates into the CRMs is a company called Sakari. We also compete with Sales Message, SMS Magic, Haymarket. Those are some, very similar kind of niche and small kind of off the wall vendors. I'm sure they provide great services to their customers, but we compete with them in just the kind of physical relationship with real people that do the training and make sure everything is up and running in a validated way with our carriers that send the traffic.
And I know you mentioned before you're on some of the app exchanges, et cetera. How does that normally work?
Yeah, we see a lot of new inquiry, new business forms that get kind of sent over to my desk via the HubSpot marketplace, the Salesforce app exchange, and the Zoho One CRM marketplace as well. I guess there's a lot of customers and vendors in the search for SMS provider. We like to I can see ourselves in the top because of our successful reviews and app downloads. But yeah, it does kind of come to the competitive, who does what and who can price for what. But there are definitely cheaper options out there. I think people have chosen us because we can validate their number and we respond really quickly to those requests with people from our sales team and my colleagues here in the Denver office. Customers really like to work with people. I think people buy from people and want to know that there's some expertise in the space, and knowing that there's this kind of suite of solutions and products for other kinds of communication tools is a really exciting next step that we're making as well.
Sort of the last question in this area is around what do you see as the future development of a cell phone? Is there, we've talked about, there's a lot of talk about it moving to glasses. There's obviously,
Oh, wow.
wearable devices have come. Like, where do you see it sort of going? Because typically a mobile phone number or a cell phone number is attached to a cell phone. Where do you guys sort of see that heading?
Well, that's a really futuristic question. I'm sure in a future world that we'll grow into quickly, we'll be wearing glasses that have SMS on the screen. Until we get there, there is another step that we're taking in the SMS world. So far, we've had SMS for just general character, words, and punctuation, MMS for multimedia like pictures, images, GIFs, etc. RCS will be the next acronym that your customers will hear about, and that's more of a rich content base, the ability to kind of interact more with survey responses, the ability to send from actual a business name rather than just the phone number. There's a function for alpha tagging, so it'll say, Home Depot is texting you rather than just some toll-free number or short code. So yeah, RCS is going to be great for the next phase of the business. And next time we talk, I'm sure I'll be wearing some kind of smart glasses.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, I'm worried because I've got stigmatism, so I don't know what they're going to do with mine. But I'm sure they'll work it out. But the RCS, when will that start to be in market?
Rolling out now. It's kind of dependent on the receiving carriers that are causing some delayed rollout across the board. But It is going to be more active, I think, in the Euro space, and then we'll be in the Americas probably by the end of the year.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Well, I know just personally for me, I've been to the US a couple of times. Most of my clients are in North America, but our functionality here in Australia on SMS is ridiculous. You can't even archive the things. There's like no real functionality within platforms. So anything to do to improve that would be great. But I think that immediacy, that 90% you talk about, I think it's stayed high. I've heard that from many experts over a period of time, and I know for me personally, yeah, if an SMS, that's one of the notifications that I always have on the phone, that it's got how many messages come in, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. You're probably nodding your head listening or watching this as well. So yeah, so it's great.
Absolutely.
So what we'll do is just take a moment's break to thank our sponsors, and then we'll come back with the rapid fire questions. If you're relying on social media or AI to stay ahead in SaaS consulting, you're missing 90% of the conversation. AI doesn't have access to this information. No algorithm can replace real-world insights from top SaaS partners who've built multi-million-dollar consultancies. Every week, I send a short, high-impact newsletter straight into your inbox. No fluff, no AI-generated noise, just real strategies that work. You'll find exclusive interviews with top SaaS partners and industry experts, behind-the-scenes insights on what's actually working right now, and solo episodes and deep dives you won't find anywhere else on the planet. Recent topics include how top partners build seven-figure businesses without platform dependence, from Salesforce partner to integration powerhouse, and the 5 productivity shifts that doubled my output without adding more hours. This is the only place in the world where you'll get these insights. No recycled content, no AI summaries, just battle-tested strategies that help you land bigger deals and build a business that doesn't depend on you. Want it? Please subscribe now at paulhigginsmentoring.com/newsletter. That's paulhigginsmentoring.com/newsletter. Don't let AI or social media decide what you learn. Get the best SaaS consulting insights straight into your inbox. So Lee, you ready for the rapid fire questions?
Ready.
All right. So the first one is, what are some of the daily habits that you do to help you build market development for Cinch Engage?
Yeah, constantly opening up the conversation between a direct conversation to a direct customer and a door that could be open to a referral, or who sold this to you at the CRM, or what kind of solutions engineers or systems integrators have you used to multiply that conversation into other clients.
Fantastic. The next is, where do you go to find more about the industry, to stay on top of your sales game?
Yeah, we're constantly innovating into our own product suite as we talk about the global reach that we have for our customers and the suite of softwares that we're kind of rolling out. We're kind of selling it in tandem with the Cinch Engage product, which is a really exciting opportunity because the customers have come from different vendors that have been consolidated into the Cinch network. So now we're getting referral kind of conversations, who's used email and who needs SMS, and vice versa.
Yeah, brilliant. And if I could grant you one wish, what would that be?
One wish. I wish I would have known earlier in my career that referrals are everything. People buy from people, and people want to know that a solution has worked in their industry before. Case studies and customer referrals are extremely powerful as the world is connected, but also kind of more dispersed with offices in a work from home environment. The conversations have to be kind of more warmly introduced. So the referrals that we get from our channel partners are extremely powerful.
Yeah, brilliant. And the last one is, what do you know now, given that you've been in the industry 7 years, that you wish you had have known earlier?
Yeah, I might have just answered it on the one before. What do I know now? It's important to understand the customer's pains. It's important to demonstrate a solution to those pains. It's important to ask for the business.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great talking to you, Lee. We haven't had anyone talking about, business communication on the podcast. So you can reach out to Lee on his LinkedIn profile. That'll be in the show notes. And obviously there's cinchengage.com. And also there's a free sandbox so you can go and learn it. But, ultimately what I'm trying to do is bring products that you can add to your suite of services to help customers solve problems, as Lee just said, but also to generate more revenue for yourself. So, Lee, thanks for coming on the Paul Higgins podcast today.
Thank you very much, Paul. It was great to be with you.
What a great interview with Lee from cinchengage.com. If you really want to get past those low reply rates on cold email and want to get more of those 90%, 93% reply rates on SMS and MMS, reach out to Lee. And you can also visit cinchengage.com for a free sandbox. So go there, connect with Lee, mention that you heard him on the Paul Higgins podcast. The link itself will be in the show notes. And if you found value in today, please subscribe, leave a review. I love those reviews on whatever platform you're listening to, and also share the podcast with other SaaS consulting partners who will love you for that. Until next time, keep scaling smarter. What's one shift you can make from today's episode? Send me a message. I reply to everyone. And if this helped, share it with a SaaS consulting partner ready to scale beyond 6 figures. Because breaking the ceiling starts with one action.